Okay, good afternoon. I hope your afternoon is going well. It's midweek and we're almost at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully we can see the light. By that I mean, for those of us in the UK, we're counting down to the end of lockdown. And it's all very exciting. So can I ask for a favor? If you cannot hear me or see me and you're getting to watch this, please do me a favor and drop me a message. As you well know, StreamYard will require you to give permission so that we can get to see your comments. The topic for today is going to be interesting. So my first question to you is, have you ever heard the phrase, "It does what it says on the tin"? Have you ever heard that phrase? I'm sure you have. So today, the topic is going to focus on labels or not labeling yourself. So I need to start by introducing myself. My name is Patience Ogunbona, and I am streaming live to you on Facebook, on my personal page, in my group, the Visionary Introverted Women Community, as well as LinkedIn. So, and I'm using my studio, my second video space for the second time. So I'm really excited. So what do? I am an executive transformational coach, a business trainer, a DISC behavioral expert, as well as an emotional intelligence expert, inspirational speaker, and author. My passion lies in helping introverted women to overcome limiting beliefs, develop their mindset and tenacity, as well as self-belief, so that they're able to develop high performance and thrive, creating increased impact, influence, and income. As a business trainer, I work with businesses, small and medium-sized enterprises, corporations, and organizations to help achieve what I call the synergy in the 3 Ps, which is people, performance, and processes, which leads to profitability and sustainability. So today, I'm dealing with one of my favorite topics. My company is called ATI Coaching, Consulting, and Training Limited, and my brand is the Visionary Introverted Woman. Now, as you can hear me say that that's my brand, you obviously know that the word introverted is there, the word visionary is there. Some people have said to me, oh, that is a label. Why label yourself? So today I just wanted to use this opportunity to share my views, and that's why I'm welcoming discussions from you. And if you're watching in my group as well, hi ladies, I know that you're there because you identify with this, or you identify with someone who's introverted, or you find the balance and you're what we call ambivalent. Either way, I just want to share from my perspective what it means to label yourself, why it's okay to label yourself, and what that does to help you, and why you need to help people to understand how what is in the tin does what it says on the tin. So I think that is what is important. So I just want to start by sharing a story about me. So I remember being in youth service. So I come from Nigeria originally, and university, you get to go to youth service, right? You get to serve the country. And I think that's a good way. You get to give back. Well, give back in the sense that you go and find places where you can share your expertise, share your experience. And during my 1 year, and it's a year, and you do this when you're under 30. So during my 1 year, I made friends, I met a lot of people. And I remember one day being in a group and we were having a chat. And suddenly, I just felt the urge to take a break and go away. When I did this, one of my friends, and I hope one day he's watching this, I don't know where he is in the world, his name is Ugo. And he said, I heard him say, where is Patience? I could hear him, but I was like, don't find me, don't find me. And he then comes over and keeps searching, Patience, Patience, and I keep very still and quiet. And he then knocks on the door where I was. He comes in, the light is off, I'm lying down, my eyes closed, I'm just there. And he said to me, why do you like doing this? You like just disappearing to be by yourself, and just stay on your own here in this space. Don't you want to? I think I'm going to give you a new name. And he called me the mole. So the mole, not as in the mole that is a snitch, because some people there is a snitch or a mole in, but the mole because he said you like finding a hole and hiding yourself. At the time, a part of me felt like I was broken, like there was something wrong with me, and a part of me felt like at the same time when he said it, I actually accepted that title and I said, yeah, I am the mole. I actually love to hibernate. I love to go in my hole and I do enjoy it. And it's nothing to do with anybody else. It's just me. It's what I like. But I didn't understand it then. But I kind of wasn't offended by being given that name, so to speak. Something instinctively said to me, it's okay for someone to call you this. But he wasn't he was calling it from a place of me explaining to him that I really just wanted to be away, no offense. And being my friend, he got it. I did it a few times, so he understood. And that was what I really needed. He understood, and he would give me my space next time because the mole wants to go in the hole. And I think there's a couple of things about me. For example, I'm wearing orange. I love deep colors. I love autumn and winter because it allows you the opportunity to stop, to pause, and to slow the pace. If you know introverts, you know that slowing the pace means that you have the space to think more and you have the space to interact less. But you can be so exhausted by going around and associating and going to everything available that you then lose that chance to hibernate. When you start the new year or when you start spring, you are exhausted. And you don't know why you are more exhausted than the person, for example, who likes exposure. And then I got to England. And when I got to England, what happened was, again, I noticed behaviors that didn't seem to resonate with some people. I was brought up, in an introverted way as well. So that didn't help. And my siblings knew my behaviors where I'd love to go away and just be by myself. Again, coming to England, it gave me the opportunity to look up and to find out the meaning of the word introvert. And when I did, I got really excited. For me, it was saying that it's describing certain behaviors that I have, but also I had to choose. So introversion, by definition, is that you get your stimulus. It's more internal than external, and it's within. And more so, you can have other things like being a deep thinker, which my mom used to describe me as very deep thinking and very deep. I would, as a child, come up with things that people would say, what? How old are you? Where did it come from? And I used to think, that's just me. Why is it odd to everybody else? But hearing that word, hearing the description, and understanding as well, I've always been interested in what makes people tick. I've been interested in that since I was born, I have to say. I've been interested in things like, what's your purpose? Because I didn't want to live a purposeless life. I didn't want to fly. It all links up. I was interested in temperament as well, and I understood things like you being sanguine, you being melancholic. I read those things very young age because I was interested in what makes you you. I was interested in that from a very young age. So understanding what makes me me and defining it as the box. So people see themselves and go, hi, Maya, thanks for joining me on LinkedIn. Nice to have you here. So as I said, I'm streaming on different platforms. I might not be able to see you, but feel free to join the conversation and feel free to hashtag replay when you get to watch this, share your view, your story. So I get a lot of people who resist labels because they think it boxes you. Now, whatever boxes you, it's a choice for it to box you. It's important that people know who you are, that you first of all identify with who you are. And by so doing, you are able to understand your preferences, your wiring, what I call your internal wiring, and what you really, really desire. Your deepest desire comes from that space. So my deep desire comes from having that space, because when I have that space, my genius comes out. When I have that space, I'm refreshed and able to engage. But the truth is that we are not just one dimension. So I'm not just introverted. That's where it gets complicated, right? As I mentioned in the beginning of my video or my live, I said that I'm also a disc behavioral personality expert. So I use the four elements of personality that DISC prescribes, which is dominant, inspiring, sociable, and then cautious or calm, or whichever way you want to look at it, or calculative. Different kind of descriptions. So if I describe myself, I would say, and for many of us, there is something else, one element of that disc that is predominant. So for example, for me, I'm a high IS. I'm a high I first, and then an S. Those are the predominant parts of my personality. That means I'm very, very people oriented. So does it it kind of means that although I do like my space, I do love people a lot, and I love functioning with people. I love helping people. One of the things I realize is that this information is useful for decision making. It's quite empowering. It doesn't put you in a box. It's not about labels and labels that stop you. For me, a box is more of a container. I don't see a box as limiting, as restrictive. I see a box as a container that holds the gift. And it's left to me to open that box and release the gift for people to see. It's left to me to help people to understand what that gift is. Now, whenever people in my sphere, introverts, talk about living in the world, they say in an extroverted world. And the truth is, there is an element of truth to it. It's like saying women complain that it's a male-dominated world. It is. And therefore, women have to find their space. They don't have to become men. They just have to be recognized for what they bring to the table. Hi, Anne, on LinkedIn, what you bring to the table. And that's where diversity comes in, because diversity is about creating that inclusion so that you have variety and you see the beauty of each person and each element, and you'll be able to then use that to your benefit, because you'll be able to make better decisions. You have a wider range of options because there are different people sitting on that table able to do different things. That is what diversity is all about, and inclusion as well. So for me, if you're somebody who is thinking that by labeling yourself, you are then restricting yourself, then that is the mindset that needs to change. If you call a spade, you know what a spade does. So another insight that I want to share with you, for example, is it came to me. One of the other things that I'm very great at is, being that I'm a high IS, I'm very good at using my intuition. For some people, that's uncomfortable. My husband, for example, is very high C and needs the facts. He needs the facts before he can, and I just need to feel it. I'm a feeler. And for him, he needs that confirmation before he can move. That's what's more predominant about his personality. So basically, for me, if you call yourself one certain way, it means you have a certain preference. Does it mean you can't learn and adapt in other ways? You can. But what if you're not self-aware of what your real preferences are? Of then when you see it, rather than self-loathe, which is what I used to do when I was younger, to self-loathe, to hate myself from not liking parties, to hate myself for some things that I felt like if I were given the permission, I would like it. I would be okay with it. But because it felt like I needed people's permission so that they would understand that it's not anything prejudicial, it's just who I am, I felt like I needed to come to that place of self-acceptance. So when I say that I work with introverted women, this is what I help them do. It's not about wanting to be invisible. So many times you find that they just don't want to be constantly out there. There's a difference. So, but you can find ways to be out there and unmissable. That is the important skill that you need to learn. You can also find out that if you are a high I and an S, which does not have the task orientation within it, there are instances in your life where you need to build those skills. Otherwise, you will not achieve the success you want. Why? Because success has a lot of components to it. And one way of looking at it is if it doesn't exist for you, what about cooperation with other people? But having that awareness that it doesn't exist for you, having that awareness that it's not your preference, being able to use that to decide that the career you're in, the career path you're in doesn't work for you. And to find that fulfillment, to operate within your genius zone, you have to understand yourself and your preferences. Then you were able to make that investment. And I help my clients. And what suddenly happens through working together is they begin to come out on their own terms and shine. They begin to understand how to do it because they now look inwards and say, this is who I am. This is what I have to offer. This is how I will offer it. That makes me different. This is my unique selling. Also, it's about knowing what your unique selling point is and being able to use that to your benefit, to draw people that are like you, because as some of my mentors always say, you can't take people where you haven't been a lot of times. But that then also infers that if, like me, I feel that having been deeply, deeply introverted all my life and spent time understanding the different layers of personality, that is not just about being just looking at it blindly. You look at other elements, you look at the temperament, you look at strengths, you look at preferences, you look at all these things and you bring them together. Being able to bring all these things together helps people to come out of themselves, to thrive, to be able to use it for performance purposes, to enhance and improve your performance. Like last week where I talked about 3 strikes and you're in. If overwhelm comes from the external for me, how do I reduce that overwhelm with what I do? So these are some of the things that, you think about. And I'll give another example that I find very useful. And it came to me and I was thinking about it. And it's more around, think about leaves, for example. I was thinking about growing up, my parents used to really be hot. My mom especially used to be hot on talking about healthy eating. And she used to give us vegetables. And there was this vegetable, of course, everybody knows vegetables, spinach. Spinach is a great vegetable. Everybody knows, not everybody knows another vegetable called bitter leaf that my mom usually gives us. Now, spinach is spinach, so if you're describing it, but bitter leaf has the word bitter in front of it. And I thought about that feels like a label that is negative. And it could feel that way, right? So, but the truth about it is bitter. And that's what I want you to see with acceptance is that, yes, I am who I am. However, these are my strengths. This is where I operate. This is where my genius zone lies. So spinach, if you see spinach is very light green. If you look at bitter leaf, it's darker green. And that means it has more chlorophyll or the greens that come out of it, and the potency is different. So for bitter leaf, the bitterness means that you think about things like quinine and all those health benefits over and above spinach that maybe gives potassium. They both probably gives potassium, but it allows bitter leaf to have something different. And so if bitter leaf wanted to say, stop labeling me, I'm just a leaf, like spinach is, then you wouldn't understand the contents of it. You wouldn't understand what makes it unique, what makes it different. So in my opinion, and what I'm saying is identifying with who you are and how you love to do things makes life easier for you. It makes you understand where your strengths come from, where your preferences lie. It helps you to relate with people from a place of understanding, from sharing, from also connecting. It allows you to connect better, in my opinion, with people once they're able to understand where you're coming from and who you are. You are also, in my view, have been able to understand who other people are, because since I have invested in understanding myself, I have allowed myself to invest in understanding other people from the standpoint from which I have grown. It has helped me grow myself a bit more. It has helped me to design or to keep designing the kind of business that will work for me in the long term. Because in the short term, yes, you have to run business like everybody else. Yes, you have to think about the strategies, but you've got to, in the long term, for your business to be sustainable, it has to be something that you run from a place of understanding yourself and how you operate. So if you also know, for example, and I want to give an example here to do with personalities, if you get clarity that you're a high I and an S, and you don't have maybe a C, which is really dotting the T's, crossing the I's, or you don't have a D, which is well known to be dominant. So you then want to look at, where in my business does this personality type that is not as amplified in me need to show up. That's important, because now you now know firmly these are your preferences. You won't enjoy looking at too much detail. You probably don't want to be somebody in the room who is seen as being dominant or being domineering. However, it's important to develop the skill of being dominant, of being able to stand up, stand out, and step up. So what does that then lead to? Leadership. You develop your leadership skills. You know that that's an area that you need to build to be able to make your business work. For somebody who is already dominant, they need to practice the art of not being domineering. But in terms of leadership, it probably comes more flowingly to them. So the area they might need to learn is to be more high I oriented, where they are people oriented, not task oriented, so that they are domineering and demanding and dictatorial. So looking at all these things together, looking at it from the preference side of, I am introverted or extroverted, because extroverts can lack confidence as well. And just like introverts can lack confidence as well. But the difference might be coming from the extroverts feeling like when they talk, nobody is paying attention. But the introvert situation might be, I can't even open my mouth to talk because I'm not being given the chance. So for the extrovert, it's about making sure that people pay attention. For the introvert, it's about finding ways to show up powerfully in the room in the first place, presence. So, and position, and for the extrovert, it's about maybe positioning so that people can give permission to be led. So it's all those things that you look at when you're looking at what's in the box, not about what's outside the box. The things that are outside the box are important. It's important to put labels on things because it brings understanding about what's in the tin. What's in the tin? You have to know what's in the tin to be able to use it for its full purpose and potential, to be able to use it to its full potential. I always say, for example, when you go to the shop, you see bleach and you think bleach is written on it. You see that X marks the spot. It's like it's dangerous. So you know what's in the tin. You know it's dangerous. You know that you have to handle it with care. However, beyond that, when you bring bleach home, if you follow the rules of how to use it, you are able to clean beyond what anybody else can use other products to clean. It does a good job. And that's where I believe that allowing yourself to understand yourself, taking control of what that label means to you, becomes your superpower. Understanding the kryptonite as well is very important. And as a result of that, you then need to know, what does the label say? And to recognize that the box is not about honing you in, it's about preserving that element of you that is non-negotiable, that is unchangeable. I don't believe that I'll ever become an introvert. This is the way I was born. And I'm essential to the whole functioning of the world in terms of diversity, because too much extroversion can lead to exhaustion. Too much introversion can lead to boredom. So I am there to be able to meet the extrovert with my ability and help, and the extrovert is there to pull me out and help me have fun. And this is what you need to think about when it comes to your business, when it comes to your career. If you're in an office that is not helping you. So going back to my initial story before I finish, I talked about the fact that I was called the mole. How does that interpret in a work environment when it comes to work? It means that if a room is too lit, if a room has people making all sorts of noise, my concentration levels will be affected. So take that as what you can think about. In a workplace, I need to take walks and take my breaks and go and calm down away from the noise. Then I come back and I'm more energized to face the noise. That is how I designed my work life to be able to cope, to be able to manage. The open space office allows people to interact, and it's all fun, and I'm a people person. But at some point, for me to really retune my mind, I needed to go away. So in business as well, it means not that I don't like crowds, not that I don't appreciate working with crowds, because I'm a people person. However, I should know when my limit has reached, and how do I build in breaks from social media, breaks from going out to people. How do I schedule my calls? How do I schedule the delivery of my service? So that is what I wanted to share today, about the fact that I think labels are what you make them. You can take charge of being labeled and then describing and using that as getting people to understand what is really in the box and what you have to offer, what's unique about me, what is non-negotiable in my life that I need to do. So this is just to finish off to say, for this Black Friday, I'm offering a discount for anyone who wants to look more closely at their personality, at who they are, to be able to have a disc report, but also have it analyzed and looked at, so that you can use that for decision making. You can use it to create an action plan for how you want to build your success pathway. If that's you, get in touch with me, and I'm able to help you to use my expertise to come up with great things and gifts that are within that box that we can open up and share with the world. So remember always that being able to know who you are now, but go on that transformational journey, is your birthright, because you're meant to transform to fully express your potential. Don't miss out on doing that. Don't stay stuck. Don't hold on to fixed mindset. Take the plunge, take the chance, and do what you need to do to grow and develop yourself. It's been Patience Ogunbona. I hope you have a great rest of the week. Take care and God bless.